You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We'll make the next motion. So that we'll get that adjournment. Further, Michael?
Yeah, we added on raffle permits. The Northern Lights all started raffle permit 2024. Yeah, we added the first raffle permit for that.
Motion made and seconded for that addition. All in favor, say aye. Aye. 7, public input. I'd just like the board to know that tomorrow night, the planning board meeting, I'm going to introduce impact fees again and see how that will get done. Great, thank you.
I'm sorry, what are you doing?
Introducing impact fees.
Yes.
Now you'll have a little more success. So. Great. Emergency Management Director Kevin Weston. Kevin. Okay, next one. Slash back so you can run that you have.
It's not a lot of change in the budget.
Funding will get us the fire station slash go safety. We only need about 6,000 square feet for your office.
You come with grants, they'll find them space.
Yeah, find the space.
There's states federal emergency alert system. And it's actually there's no cost. Seems to be pretty cost of it. Side of what. Wow. You know, that's because. You know that we didn't send out alerts messages for having. Thanks so similar to that. We did send that situation. Example, very good limit down to just that area. So that seems so.
And how was the information distributed?
Landlines are automatically involved because they have that. We have to. Probably have to opt in for text messages.
We used to have something like that.
Code red.
Well, this is assessment.
Yeah, and the price is right on this one. That one was getting pretty expensive and it was free. So it's like the price we like.
Yeah, I've actually downloaded the app on my phone. Realized myself, I put in my address, I put in town hall. And I don't want to keep that. Something's happening, those addresses, they're all in the system, including, alert. You're not there.
So when's that gonna go? Next year or?
You can sign up and go right now. We're starting that.
You think we should get that in the sponsored coverage for?
Yeah, I was a couple weeks, right, I was thinking that that's a topic from on. We have it. Work system that goes along with it, it's something goes to there. It's another topic, should be right.
Should we be, or have you been looking into making Wickham Hall or some other facilities a warming center? As if we run into power outages?
Well, I think in can, how police department could address it. I think we're prepared to do that. And give that should be.
So how do we make that determination?
But I think we have to come to the weather. But then we can see if there's components out there that we're going to test, but they're either calling in or then some sort of or maybe, you know.
Did we do that last July for it was?
Yes.
Was this, yeah.
More for information, people want to charge their phones, things like that.
Typically, we get more questions about if we're opening one than people that actually attend.
I know I always ask.
You always ask, and we're always thinking about it. So it is, something Pam has graciously staffed many times now, and definitely has been used by some people, but it's not like we get 30 people that want to come in and do it, which is good, but it is something we're prepared to mobilize. Mobilize is pretty quick. You want to go a 10-minute or 5 or 10-minute ride over, so.
Do you foresee a chance that we would get to the point where we would make people aware that this is an option? So that they know that whom to call or that it is open?
And I think that can be in the text, right?
Well, that meeting, it's just, I don't know, we can customize and send out messages. We can just, we've got to get people aware they, I think cell phones are the. And they don't have, they don't have that, right? So we come on into that, we need that. We can reach that should be never. Right. But we can. Yes, well, we will be, yes.
We do usually advertise it on social media. A lot of times these are happening off hours, so it's not as easy to post on a website, but they can tell you operate the social media remotely, so that's usually how we try to get the word out there on that.
So we need a motion on approval of that or just consensus?
I think consensus is fine, and then is it something the board would sign or you?
I believe you can.
Okay, then I'll me to sign it.
That's for,
Emergency notifications.
so that it sits in the stock and
Yeah.
And consensus, you said. And authorize Mike to sign. 3 out of 3. We're getting 1,000.
Job, we do deals.
Thanks, Carol.
I mentioned it last week when Eric was in, but just again, give you kudos, Kevin, for all your help during the building transition.
Yeah, that needs yellow pieces of paper that would be nice.
Yeah, we want to keep it going.
That's right.
Important officer.
no changes. Nothing exciting.
Are you taking the compensation?
I am.
You catch
You only 10 bucks, you said you wouldn't ask this year. I'm just kidding.
I do, yes.
running a little behind based on our sheet, so.
Well, if there's,
Gotta save it when you need it, right?
Last year, with all our help during the flooding, especially with messaging, she got pretty close to the budget.
Yeah.
So
We want to keep you, so we want to make sure it's worth it.
I'm not planning on going anywhere, so.
Any questions for us?
we have the Board of Health.
I do.
Right? So
Saw that, yeah.
collectively, the select board and the health officer act as the town board of health.
Yeah, you're also the board of health, I don't know if you know that.
You did talk to me about that.
So when those health officers come in from, health inspectors come in from Keene, you could say, well, basically,
Yeah.
that's what you guys.
So we have to code it.
So I'm not getting on this.
So I'm required to do a readiness report for the board of health and, I would say that my, three top issues are housing, property maintenance and communication every year. I'd like to say I don't know how to solve it, but each situation is different, so it's not always the same solution for issues. As far as communication, I think I'm going to also include that alert system on the town website. To let people know, this was mostly during COVID, letting people know that there was clinics open or whatever. And in fact, expanding how I want to communicate, so. I think I have the town covered pretty well. There's always those folks who, you can't reach because they don't have devices, they don't have the internet, and hopefully the posting around town help with that. You have any questions or?
How are we doing with all compliance? With some of the multi-families and the issues we've had? Getting cleaned up?
I think so. I think the policy's been used a few times. Same time I need to revamp the policy to include all the new lead laws, especially when there's prevention to children, small children. Just getting a handle on that and perhaps updating that policy.
Lead paint's becoming more
Yes.
an issue.
Yeah. Took a lot of classes on that this year, so.
Do you find there's any directives coming from the state?
Oh, yeah. Lots of that. If a child starts presenting with elevated blood levels, the state will issue an administrative warrant to the landlord. And there are full free license things they have to do, they have a certain amount of time to do that. And the fourth is finding alternative housing for the tenant while those things are getting done, so. They're really enforcing it.
Is there funding help?
I don't think so, not that I know of. It's quite expensive, I'm sure.
Ends of house.
Yeah.
In addition to the putting them up somewhere, if
Absolutely.
you can find somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's a problem that we have, or can have in Winchester, any of the towns with older homes.
Yeah. Any questions?
It was, did you talk with her about the property and working on an ordinance?
I did, and I want to do that. I guess I'll set up a time with her and mention what I was talking about. Well, Michael was gonna get back to me and tell me where's that introduction. And I was just wanted to bring it back to the table and see where we left off with it. Because I got the feeling from you that it was pushing, and it's going over it, right? And I kind of wanted to bring it back. So,
This was about the anti-litter or anti-dumping ordinance, right?
right.
Sure, maybe the job is one. I mean, I know it's.
It's usually Wednesdays from 9 to noon or so, but
Yeah, but I. It's Wednesdays. It's. So, don't know.
State Senator Donovan Fenton.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have no agenda other than to be here. I'd rather listen to you folks, tell me about any concerns you may have with Swanzey. Love Swanzey, I work here. I've been here quite a bit. So, it's really more about what I can do for you folks at a state level. I'm hearing from families that are help with plan, kind of grants more money into that. Hearing the pre-main concerns about housing, communication and maintenance. Yeah, we have a massively aging infrastructure. Certainly then, that's going to be becoming more and more prevalent in one of these houses, especially when we're renovating them. So, feel free to ask me questions, but also, don't hold back on what you guys get help with or what you're interested in, Give and take. I don't think you want me to sit here and discuss. We should.
It might be helpful, to have a sense from you as to where your focus is and your role in the Senate with their particular categories that are of interest. Jay, for example, was very focused on education and improving opportunities for that. So I'd be just curious to know if there's.
Absolutely, no, Bill, I appreciate that. So I sit on the education and transportation committees. And so the big focus is having education for myself and Brad at the key next door. So helping our teachers, helping them prepay their loans, things like that, those I've worked on, gotten past. And also, we're talking about the flooding, a lot of what I worked on was farmer relief for that flooding. It came down to kind of what you folks tell me is going on in the district. That's kind of how I gauge what I introduced in legislation. Jane was heavily focused on education, but I take a different approach where I look at other problems that are facing us here in districts, and housing is the major one you talk about, introduce a lot of legislation. I'm trying to help our housing situation here, helping out these brownfield sites, especially the ones we have clean, that are dirty, and no one's touching them. Great opportunities for affordable housing. It's something, not really sexy, but culverts, we talked about that flooding again. It happened in North Carolina. We talked about these 100-year floods that are now every year floods, every summer floods. And, we haven't done a deep dive into our culverts here in New Hampshire, and a lot of towns are starting to see that, they're going to be in trouble with these floods, especially the mountainous region, Swanzey. It all came down from those mountains roads. It's in Mountain City. Infrastructure was a huge portion of what I did in the past year. That farmer relief I mentioned. Communication broadband is another aspect that we're working on, trying to get broadband to all of our communities. State not really looking to charge on that, or just kind of taking up for them. This coming session, I don't know if you guys are following along, but revenues are way behind what they should be in the state of New Hampshire. We were about $30 million off our September numbers, which is a very scary thing, especially because we have a lot of programs to fund, and we're going to have a lot more to fund this coming year. So, when we're talking about future legislation, we have to be really careful, and we're the fiduciaries of our state. We can't just willy-nilly writing a check. It has to be fiscally responsible. So, we're taking a look at what revenues are going to look like this coming year in terms of what we can introduce, what we can find, and we have to be really careful on that. I hope my other colleagues for that as well. So I have no problem for so something to be aware of. But and childcare was another big issue. I have 3 young children. Childcare is outrageously expensive. I've gotten really good bills passed to help alleviate childcare situation here in New Hampshire. Talk about building the workforce in New Hampshire. I think it comes down to, having a roof over your head, strong childcare, strong schools. That's how we try to move to our state. That's what makes our economy, move forward at the top. To go on with that, Bill, I apologize, but that's kind of what my focus has been on. That's what we're indulging that this following year.
What about other bills dealing with infrastructure improvements? Public water, public sewer. Is there any pending legislation or directives?
Yes and no. So in our budget this past year, we did the Housing Champions program. $60 million for affordable housing, grant programs, things like that, water and sewer infrastructure for the towns. We can state can create the carrot for you guys. It ultimately it's up to you guys to spend that money. Find ourselves on local control. That's why we're in this room. So we can provide the funds, but ultimately, you guys want to use those funds, those tools, especially when it comes to zoning and things like that, especially like staff. So there's money available for infrastructure in terms of water and sewer in that Housing Champions program. I don't think it's been allocated quite yet. It was in our budget this past year.
There was a webinar, I think last week that I had a conflict with, but I got to record it. I don't have just the bottom we're on that, but so they got away down there, so we would do it together with my phone. So I talked to Steve Fortier, the state about that as well. So he was presenting at the Southwestern Regional Planners meeting last week. last week or the week before that, I think as well. So it's definitely something on our radar.
How you're getting it.
And we benefited from the invested H funds for the affordable housing, $840,000. Some of which we've used and some of which are still available to be allocated. That's
It has been, we utilize it in an area of what it's, they help with development.
That's the purpose of the month.
And sometimes we use it to go into the general fund. We chose that. We didn't have to do that.
But I mean, use the money, you guys.
Yeah. Do you foresee any directives from the state with regard to density and? But I think there was a bill that was proposed having to do with minimum size lots based on DES determination for septic system. I think it didn't pass, but I think that.
Yes.
But I don't think anything like that's going to be coming back.
I really don't know who the session, we're talking about the lot size and units, things like that, those always come back up. And always have a discussion, that book made it pretty far, it's actually to the seventies, so. Yeah, the answer, yeah, it's like most of it.
Yeah, the ADUs has been tremendous.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah, it's, there's a lot of zoning in the state of New Hampshire has been updated for the last 6 years, longer than I've been on. So it's, yeah, so you're, I eventually want to like to say it's 84 years, but that's kind of weird.
Well, true.
Yeah, well, thank you. 3 little kids. But, sorry, lost my train of thought. But again, local control, but the zoning aspects, a lot of smaller towns now don't have staff to fix that zoning or time, and that's a lot of money to invest in age for how to change the whole program. What else? Is there anything I can help you guys this coming session, so we can get reelected?
One thing, which is probably not something you're gonna solve overnight, but I think we need to look at local welfare reform, the current system of go to your town hall and help you is not working well. It's pitting communities against each other. I know Keene worked on legislation so that one town can't dump welfare claims on other towns, but the amount of resources that people are needing in this housing crisis, we're doing budget appointments, so we haven't gotten to our welfare budget, but it's continuing to increase based on, there's nowhere to put people. So some people are gonna put up at hotels, as a lot more common than Keene, but we really need to, again, I don't know if it's something where you can advocate for a study commission or something to try to look at it, but I just feel like every town having their own local welfare administrator that's trying to learn all the complicated resources that are out there.
Do you have a local welfare administrator?
We do.
Yes.
Maybe it'd be best to set up a meeting with you and her and talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I think I know what you're referring to, in terms of when you send a transient individual to Keene or how to, correct?
Well, that was the legislation that was changed last year, but I'm just talking more broadly just about the current local welfare system.
I would agree, I think the welfare code needs to be. Okay, totally, but yeah, I'll take a note of that, I love the welfare administrator that, sometimes they communicate well with others in the state, sometimes not, so we can have that communication. And to your point, there's no housing, section 8 housing available, there's nothing, on the vacancy rates was not existing, so it's the ripple effect of that alone.
Then the other thing, just to put on your radar, the DPW DeRusso came in, which is good timing, but we're trying to work through it administratively, but we have had some challenges with DES regarding wastewater certification issues. So we contract with an operator right now to run our lagoon system in the heart of town. And so I won't get into all the details, but just make a plug. I don't know if you want to add anything, Joe, or.
No, I think, like I said, we'll see where things go and we may come back to you on it. Just in a nutshell, there's a serious shortage of
wastewater operators out there, and DES is making it harder and harder to have operators. Our contractor that's working for the towns having some significant challenges, and we're trying to work through it. I don't think the contractor is being treated fairly. We'll see where it goes at this point. But there's a significant shortage across the state. I don't know what a lot of small towns are gonna do. And DES is definitely not making it easy for the towns.
Subdivisions have been great.
Very helpful, yes, very helpful, but not for licensing.
Exciting stuff, welfare and wastewater.
You know what, it's right in line after, you know, you got a lot of wastewater massive for young kids, so. Yeah, if you guys do anything else, no, I'm always available, you guys, phone call, email, doesn't bring my children to bed, anyone can reach out to me. So if you need something, you know, feel free to always contact me. I'm happy to help you with it. So,
We appreciate your support on the covered bridge legislation.
great goals. Grew up driving through those, so.
While you're on DPS, you just keep in the back of your mind alteration of terrain permits, which are, we brought that up with various gubernatorial candidates. It's such an excessive time period that it puts projects in jeopardy.
Alteration of terrain. Yeah, and if you guys ever think that you're not, you know, get your career to go on or you know back and see things, reach out to me with the else. Sure.
Another one would be with regard to development projects. And I think this could come from the state, would be prior to was either 13 or 14, if a project received zoning approval and site plan approval, it was basically grandfathered. If I remember correctly, they didn't sunset. It's the old. So you could get a permit and you get your approvals in 07 and not do anything until 2020. And then the legislature changed that and they implemented law that it essentially stated that moving forward, zoning boards, either approvals, planning, site plan approvals for 1 year, and the developer had the opportunity to ask for one extension. It also created a system by which those older permits would sunset, so they essentially went away. The main reason I brought up the AOT is that some of the permitting processes take so long at the state level that a site plan approval can expire. And so there should be a mechanism in place of some sort that if the developer is actively moving forward and they're seeking their approvals, that those permits would extend, or they should somehow be allowed to get additional extensions, because that's having a dampening effect on housing.
And here in Swansea.
We haven't seen it specifically in Swansea, but on some other projects. And we had a ribbon cutting last week down in Marlows, and it was discussed with some of the people from the Hampshire Housing that the delayed permitting by the state, in particular alteration of terrain, is causing projects to lose site plan, which affects funding and a myriad of other aspects. And
Here, no, what was there?
he's on his.
That's Swan song, right?
Yes, he is. But
But that's help, I appreciate it.
we did share that with one of the candidates who was there. So, and then another one, and this is just a general question, if you could just kind of put it on your air, because it really directly impacts Swansea. We're struggling to maintain a volunteer call in the fire department. And part of it, from what I'm told, is that the call firefighters need to go through such an extensive training program. It's very similar or comparable to what a professional firefighter would need to go through, that people can't afford to invest the $200 or thereabouts that's needed. And I've been told that it's all coming from the state fire marshal, which seems to me to be forcing communities into a professional fire department. And Donovan, I'm not an expert on this. I'm just throwing it out there because Sly would know much better than I do. But it is definitely impacting our ability to recruit firefighters and get them trained.
So we're just getting details here now. So would a retired firefighter have to go through the same rigorous training unless they're retired at age of 40 to 50, they can be able to go to firefighters? They could not.
They would already have the training.
They would, so
What he's talking about is somebody new to the fire service. Firefighter wants 180 hours. And EMT's 150 or 60 hours. You know, it's asking a lot. Right off on some young people that might not have the time.
I think young people, I think, people want to be volunteer firefighters, so I should, thing, do some of their communities. You're not the only community that is all with that. So we'll. I'm going, well, you can find it, you have to find it very long.
That's great.
You guys got anything else for me? But like I said, if you need to reach out, and I'm always available, phone, email, or right from my window, it's fine, come by a car. Call them and say,
I did hear something this morning having to do with vehicle inspections of cars.
yeah,
And that there was some legislation that had been positive with regard to not requiring vehicle inspection for brand new cars right off the lot. I don't know whether it was for a specific period of time frame, like that.
well, the problem was, people register their cars at different votes. So there was no gauging. It was flawed legislation. I understood the intent was flawed because there was no stickers involved. So people would be driving around in a brand new car without a state inspection sticker. So police officers, troopers would have no idea they needed that. And I said, not at 2025, so we're at 2020. And, so we'd be putting a burden on our state troopers or our police force trying to figure out what cars, so there was just so many holes in the bill. But yeah, did not.
I've owned one new car, so I wouldn't qualify.
Well, it's just, yeah, just saying those new cars, pretty much everything was stickers. Pretty, so.
But we're paying, you better give it.
Yeah, well, you see the right guys. But like I said, yeah, reach out to me if you need anything. I really appreciate it and giving me time here. So. Thank you. Let's keep down with my kids go back. Absolutely. Thank you. Glad to see you around, sir. Always. Never been on this. That sounds good, yeah.
Joe DeRusso.
Who's this guy?
All up. Yes. That'd be the 18 days.
Could you guys keep finding more and more? You can take the sewer off that if you want the wastewater. They just keep growing.
Or go over the budget first and stuff.
Yeah, so he's got a number of different accounts, kind of like the fire, it's a little different one, so. First one is the CPM or CM, which is cemetery maintenance, cemetery and environment maintenance. The river draft food changes there.
There's not, and there's not much change in there. The cost of fertilizer has gone up a little bit, so Mike and I raised that a little bit, not, we're fertilizing the ball field cemeteries, town hall, Woodland Hall, parks. They're getting fertilizer once in the spring and once in the fall. It's adequate, but it's definitely for a lot of comments with the especially the cemetery, the quality of the grass, so that's just essentially the cost of that.
there's still some property maintenance, and you'll see some of the budget that hasn't been touched, but there is still work on there this year. Trying to work on putting up the large door and the kiln, the staff, the fuel, complained that the door, the path into and out of it, real narrow, so we're going to plan for pull up the door and push the masonry work and put it in, so we'll be process of that. So not much has changed there. Not much has changed at DBW either. The increase is going to be, the outside labor, just for doing more and more projects, the outside labor rental from renting equipment, renting a screener, the screen sand, moving forward for the next several years, we're not gonna have to purchase road sand, so you'll see the road sand line item went from 10,000 to 0. But like I said, the outside labor rental is increased. The other reason for part of the increase there is as we are grading these roads and adding more catch basins and more drainage systems, that's more maintenance annually, which is pretty expensive for the vacuum truck. In the spring, we go around and clean out those catch basins and inspect them. So like, for example, South Winchester Street project, West Street is probably total of from 8 to 10 new catch basins that weren't on there, so that's a half more day. So that does add to it. And then the other is just the asphalt line item is going. And it's covers what we have scheduled for roads next year.
On that one, it's not showing much to be in the August, so that's most everything's coming in now.
Yes, a lot of it is, and my numbers, like, I have up on my flat top right now, real flat, like my outside labor, I'm over at this point on the outside labor, the asphalt, all states not build this for hardly anything yet, they've done quite a bit, they won't build this for this little bit. So that is all spoken for.
So where are we on outside labor? We're showing 22 versus 20.
Now, $3,300, approximately $3,300 over the red.
So you've got 32.
I'll pull it for you and tell you the exact number I have. $31,834, $3,334 over.
So if you think 50 to 47, you'll probably close everything. That's more than it.
Yeah, well,
47,
exactly. 42.
no, 42.
42. Yeah, I do think so. But it's one of those things, the more projects we take on, and have to rent an excavator, have to rent a screener, there's just certain things you don't have to take equipment, can't justify purchasing it. So there are a lot of bigger projects that this year that require it. For example, Cobble Hill, we need to put water up there, we need a water for excavator, which stops. Same thing with all of our new roads, so I think I'm comfortable with the 42, I wouldn't turn down extra, the more we saw line, but I think I could manage with that. But it just comes down to, like I said, how much more extra stuff is involved. For example, we're working on the grant to set aside on 32, that needs to get to the church. And it's pretty minimal, but we'll use it, we need a miniature excavator to go in there, do that work. And they're done in time and fashion, and then not do a lot of damage to the property. Back, it just made forever. The other thing, like last week, I spent 2 days on that, drove myself, ditching, really needed it with an excavator, special excavator with rubber tracks on, so it doesn't tear the pavement up. We could do with the backhoe, but it literally, what I did in 2 days with the excavator would probably take 2 weeks with the backhoe and fill the pavement spots, just backhoe, it's necessary, it's good for a lot of stuff, but not for doing long distance ditching in a short amount of time. So it's stuff like that, that outside labor, and the big angle thing, street sweeping, catch basin cleaning, and the street sweeping, catch basin cleaning, and then, yeah, rentals.
That budget changes, either you were at 33, you went to 28, I don't know that budget too, yeah, it's a pretty, hard thing to predict.
Yeah.
It's like to me,
Especially as the projects.
right,
Keep
it's
popping
all
up.
kinds of projects and equipment that we don't have, so that's why it's so.
It's a lot.
So that might be something we should put in the, up the. We a little more flexible. Think of this, if they don't want to have, they're gonna have one parents, give it once I operated that year. You know, funded at a level like 30,000 a year. One year you use 20, you don't give back with 10. Next year you use 50. But don't get budget all that, but you give that one year. Think about.
So that's, you take that line, item, that, just that line, item, whatever stuff that he trusts, he gets. Put it,
No. Right now, at the end of the year, this is gone. It's, yeah,
so you get,
either overspent or underspent. And if it's in an expendable trust, he basically draws out of it when he needs it. But in the year's light, the money still stays in there. And the next year, you put it up with about the same amount. Then you can do more projects, and little bigger sauce.
yeah,
I think just a funding mechanism. So,
so you mentioned about the sand that we don't need it, because obviously you did that job over there and we come up really good out of that job.
Yeah, the DPW lot, as you know, we have to pay us when we log it off, but we were able to trade the loan for the excavation work. Basically, costs us $100, they weren't gonna bill us, we don't want to invoice the show what took place, so they, yeah. So it was $1,820 for the loan they bought on us, and it was $8,500 for the work time, they're literally from. So we're off anywhere from, depends when you're in the ground, how the sand goes, but there's anywhere from 8 to 10, 12 years of road sand there. And then there's gonna be more of it if we go forward with the new DPW facility there, because the sites have been regraded and taken down. So I'm going to be straightening in there this year. And building a real good stockpile of sand this year.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about. I mean, you'll take that out of there, but you wouldn't put the screening under that. Will the screening costs will come out of rental and outside labor?
Yeah,
So we don't, because I was gonna suggest that we need that, and use that money for screening, but
yeah, I know, I can just, I zeroed that and added to the outside labor. Just for example, if we get in there this year, I'm in pretty good shape with my budget, all going over a couple items, I'm in pretty good shape with other items. Hence, wanting to lower, from the sign off machine. But we go in there and screen this year, I may be able to screen enough sand in November for 2 or 3 years, depending on how time goes. So I may not need a screener next year.
so
So just like to follow up with the slide said, well, that's being worked on, it just, especially with what Jim just discussed, I think you need to bump that forward to maybe the 50, because if you do the ETF, then that throws us.
Yeah.
But if you don't do it, it just seems to me where you said you've allocated sand money into that number, you're going to exceed that number this year anyway.
that's exactly what.
Why set yourself up? How do we?
Or should we do what Jimmy was suggesting initially, keep the money in the same line and get posted there?
Yeah, my suggestion was we just leave that line item, and that's, it's got to do the same, so we just screen from that money. And then we give them their 42, and then we're not cutting into 42 screening. Because he feels it's gonna be enough, but I was nervous of him renting that machine for the screening, and especially if he's got a good thing on, he's gonna get 2 years ahead of him. That's what my concern was.
And like I said, it's an important thing, I mean, that could be cut down to just a bare minimum, but then it makes us, so that's all we're doing is the bare minimum, we're not doing the extra stuff, and like I said, but I opened to me being on a map, we grew how bad it really was, and there were a lot of roads in town that need that, and it's gives you the opportunity to do that, do it safer. Correct.
Did get a call from someone that after you finished the ditch, you would have quite a bit more water coming to the culvert that was over a part of their property.
I was initially told the culverts were open, they were not open, it was bad, real bad, they did not. The excavator had run in, and all the turns, clearly 360 degrees, that just made it so it was so much easier to do, but like every culvert going down that road. And I had somebody that very patient, I know they're not right on the day, but kept calling me, it was just during the floods even, it was just, it wasn't a priority, just for 4 highway guys and 2 cemetery guys, there's only so much you can get done, I couldn't talk with the patient will get up there, and, it finally did, so there were a lot of positive comments out of that. Boy, it goes back, if you work out there for 2 days, the volume of traffic on Matthew Road and the speeds, they don't care, we had the flaggers from Weber Hill. We have them for contract until like December, so if I use that, they don't care about flaggers, they're just still traffic is unbelievable.
But I imagine all these extra things that you do, Joe, on this, it saves us money in the long run on damaging things, and it's for that maintenance, for really what we're talking about, and I think that's very important. And it saves our roads and money that money.
So yeah, everything else seems to be in pretty good shape.
I did have a question, with regard, just conceptually, not with money, but with hiring, what? You've got money in there, what are we doing and it's not working, so.
So this,
with Megan and.
yes, I've been talking with her, and so this lady here, I actually got emailed as I was sitting right there. So I'm not really fully prepared, I got dissect the numbers, but I decided that applicants that we had, didn't really fit what we needed. And I didn't want to hire somebody just to hire somebody. So 2 contractors that we use all the time provided you quotes on whatever we provided plow truck for 1 plow, and both were really good, one's really good. So I'll be going back to the board soon to alleviate that for winter. And then it's just gonna be really the right person. I just don't want to hire somebody that's gonna be. I'll be alone, so that anything honestly. We're in it with 1 person being now lead, we're still managing pretty good, so I had a lot of stuff done. But that was more and more about that. Yeah, so couple irons in the fire, just not ready, not quite there yet. But I think I was really pleased, I think. Very cost effective, but look at the numbers, it's higher than we got 1 truck. They get 1 plow, there's a lot of towns that more of that, and we're looking at these numbers, and so you can look at in the future.
With a staff, with the
States that have a their truck, and wow, there's monthly fee to have that truck dedicated to the town, and then it's hourly for each time to come out. And we have had the estimate said, like, we have a truck that's growing that, and so we're ready to.
Yeah, I think the question on that, when you look at the town of Swanzey, you break the plowing down the different routes. How many routes do you have that finishes Swanzey against storm?
It was like 7 or 8.
7 or 8 weeks, so what's it take 2 hours?
2 hours of salt run. Snow, it depends if they're cleaning up or just making a pass. Snow is on average about 4. But what like a lot of people don't understand, like, so. Knock on wood, so it keeps going like that. Lately, our storms have been starting at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, which is ideal because we have nobody on the road at that point in time. We like to get a little bit of snow cover on the road before we salt. That's a good salt, then as we snow cover on the road, it all bounces, not all, a good portion of it bounces off the ditch. You get a couple inches of snow on the road, it falls and it stays in place. Like the state has some policy that they're allowed to leave 3 to 3.5 inches of snow on the road. At their discretion part of their operations. So what will happen is that snow will start 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Cool amount of salt at 4. And depending on the snowstorm, if it's only going to be a 3-inch, 2 to 3 inch snowstorm, they're not going to plow right after they salt until it completely stops. They're just going to push the salt off the road and plow. So it usually happens to salt run, and it's going to be a big storm in excess of that 2.5 to 4 inches. Once it gets up to about 3.5 inches to go off to a plow, and it's a little bit less than 4 because there's no cleanup. They're just making the intersections open. But when the storm is done, then it's clean everything up. Clean that with the staffing we have. We don't do the sidewalks in the storm. It's after the storm is done, then we go out to the sidewalks. So it really hasn't been a problem. So The storms we get lately, it's usually one, two passes, but not like a big storms years ago, we plowed 3, 4 times.
So if we had a storm today, how many guys do we have that go out without hiring? We have 5 groups, we have 6 group guys.
We have like some time up, so it's. We're down, yeah, so that's where that higher truck comes. So we have a seasonal guy that comes in the every time, that he just keep plows, he works 40 hours a week, plows. So there'd be eight out right now.
No kidding.
We got one person,
And it's the achievements.
so we got one person that plows all the market lots with this facility. When they get done with the road routes, they help clean that stuff up, fire off the fire accesses and so forth.
Then it all happens after the storm and all the roads are done. Then you go back and meet it out.
It's a big storm, we'll punch stuff open, but don't seem to get that kind of snow, I jinx myself. Yeah.
I said it 3 times.
Yeah.
Really get into trouble.
So I'm talking about what.
But yeah, and the one thing, they said that last year.
I know the community.
The one thing I'll give accolades to the crew is they still have to do it for years, they live for it. I mean, they live for it, they like, you call and they're there 10 minutes later, no matter what.
Sometimes they're there before you call.
Yeah. Or calling me like, hey, we're gonna go yet? But yeah, so I'm confident we're all set for winter. I was really pleased, like I said, by the numbers that you can look at it. It's pretty cost effective. We don't get a lot of snow. It's not gonna cost you a lot of money. Obviously have a big winter with a lot of hours. It's really like, the rate is $140 an hour for a travel. Which is pretty reasonable.
Their insurance.
So yeah, that's one thing I'm working on. Negative providers in the local climate, so their insurance, they're obviously not liable if somebody's gonna sue over an icy road, some damage goes on, their insurance on their truck, they get some money. So,
In fact, we're going to just got the renewal for recent. It's not being property liability is way down.
yeah, so I have to see what Primex is recommending for the truck.
So you already bought $53,000 worth of salt, you have it in there, was that what we spent for the winter? That would be,
24 line numbers, so
So it's mostly from
right,
so,
the early part of this year.
so we had a surplus from the year before.
right,
And then that number, obviously, that was what I come to, it's before you here, I come from select board, some of those funds were used to do the call of the road project.
okay,
Yeah, so the solve is, you look at the years before, I don't know if you have on the list, but it's. If there have been absolute lows, like in 2023, we went to 105,000, 263. So it depends on the winter, but we had a surplus last year. We have enough of the bin right now for a normal November, December, we have enough to get some.
yeah, because I thought there was a lot of salt in there when I looked, I was like, wow, how hot does that go?
Oh, and we get pretty full at the end of the whole life.
So am I looking at double what's in there now, what he'll put in there?
Yeah, after they'll be half more to start using that.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
Part of the reason was, we had shortages. The rate of stock on between 20 and so.
And there were some winters where the big municipalities came in and buying it all in smaller towns. That's what we happen.
Yeah, that's a great setup with that for that. It's a big thing, what you get because of that. But it is, before you have top numbers there? Beautiful.
So it was. Salt cost too, but like this, I don't remember the drop a little bit this year. But. And they talk around so they were at top trails.
Dump trailers.
They put the dump trailer on the top of that.
Yeah, you told me that.
They would tear that up and tear it down.
The guy who turned it
Yeah.
up, they tried to pull out a little.
Those dump trails will tip over very easily when they're up in the air. So yeah, I think we caught it enough, otherwise you come over inside that thing.
So leaving 40 until the 5.
What are you doing the 10? The sand's 10, yeah.
It was 5 last year.
It's either that or I go with Billy's idea and raise that thought into the higher and take that up, but I just think it
They
is.
sent the posted very, yeah.
Yeah, if you put it at 50, it gives you leeway for projects for other stuff.
You want to eliminate that sand line item and just put it under salt or something? But she said,
You might
it's
be
few years. Well, just sand and salt.
Yeah, I think it was slicing and sand, salt, that would work.
I think we have that. I think we're separated, but
I don't see a reason that has to be separated, but yeah. Well, I'm like I said, overly confident that we're not buying sand for a while. Yeah.
I think what we're concerned about is that you're gonna hit the 42 this year. And that's what you got budgeted. And I'm gonna, the 5 is.
Yeah, so I think we're good at 10.
it was 5 and 24.
So it would be 10, no, I thought it was 0 and 23. 10 and 23, so that would get you to 52.
Yeah. Okay, so the money is not gonna, there's plenty of stuff to do out there. It's one of the unique things about the position, like I tell people, it's like, the more money I have, the more work it results in us getting stuff done.
So you want to put it, like slide 7 into the salt budget? And use that as your fund, or you want to put it?
I would just raise the outside rental and you could call the salt and fund the salt and say. That they've got an emergency or so it was salt. I think it's good to-
Anyway, so we didn't have as many big pots with just one, multiple things combined, we tried to break some of the amounts, so it wasn't. Sand, the sand and salt, 125,000 outside later, it was just to try to break some of them. We go back and forth, we'll play Josh wanted something separate out, shingles or something, and he said, actually, let's put it back in, so. Not the end of the world, but, I think that was part of separating it out, so, because the salt, because you, I think you guys don't get it really done.
And calcium's another thing, it's kind of an oddball, $10,000.
And last year,
Throw that in there too.
we did well floods, so we didn't have to worry about putting calcium on. We did quite a bit this year, but we haven't leftover stuff from last year. That we
Tell me about the calcium, what do you use that, what's the difference of that?
Well, it's two things. It's dust control. Which this year there's a lot of that. But one of the things I'm looking at, it's a double-edged sword. After you grade a road, it's freshly graded, spread calcium on it, spread the road spread. And then water it in, and it makes the sort of road much harder. And it doesn't get potholes as quick. And it doesn't erode from the heavy rains too much. The downside is when a road will be graded, it's brutal to try and pull it back up, or to break it back up. But it doesn't, just it helps the integrity of the road because you lose so much aggregate here just from dust. You'll see that a road will be covered, you can see stones on it. Later on in the year, as the dust goes, you'll start seeing the aggregate, all the rocks and the gravel.
That's what like you said, my back, they say that you work on every night,
Yeah.
after they left, and then done that,
Yeah.
do that.
So it does two things, dust control, but it also makes a harder surface. That hatch and holds the integrity of the road.
Is there any opportunity to work with Megan in different methods to attract school hires?
Yeah, I can see, well, yeah, and talk with her, let's see maybe what some other animals or whatever.
Seems like it more and more is coming your way.
You need people with a certain license too, right? I guess,
Yeah, it's,
yeah, I'll get that CBLs, anybody that works through that, have CBL.
not necessarily, well, right now, yes, right now we CDLs, but not necessarily.
Video and like,
Angel has a CDL, but he does not. I mean, he was additionally, it was so important to keep the deadline, so we got to go to school. It's not even, we've done a lot of training with him, but he's just one of those guys that just doesn't feel overly comfortable. Maybe someday pursue it again, but I don't need to have him as CDL, allows him a non-CDL drive. Helps out, eager to help out road projects, eager to learn stuff. We really don't need CDL. This, right now, we need the next person we hire needs to have equipment operator experience and CDL, not just a front ride. But I'm interested, like you asked, I'll be interested as well to see how this goes with that. Excuse me, with a contract for this winter for plowing. It's been a good success, I guess, for other towns.
we pay that monthly fee even though we don't have no snow.
Yeah, it's kind of a retainer. One of the proposals, and I put it on the two contractors, Board Services and Grayson Smith, local here in town. People have been working all the time, comfortable with, and Grayson's proposal is pretty attractive. But yeah, it's kind of for them to say that I'm gonna leave this $100,000 or $75,000 truck dedicated to the town, it's not a retainer. His retainer was, his hourly fee was more, but his retainer was pretty low. I need to investigate a little more, I need to get insurance questions answered, and then I'll come back.
This is great, and this is good.
Gordon gave one as well, that was good, but not quite as good as Grace's. But I just need to have the insurance. The next step I need to do is see what finances, how long we need to have them have for insurance, make sure they meet those needs, and then come to the board, make a recommendation. I don't want to do that until I see what finance requires for insurance. I may go to them, executive, say we don't have them.
Where do the salaries?
Sorry,
Salaries,
where, so first of line, full-time salary.
and where did they go on?
If you look down.
Well, they weren't in the one that we got moving a fair sheet there.
He's like, oh, we need to, all we need to do once I do the number. Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna find it, I might go back later. That's on the back.
Do it, so.
No, I'm good. 33-year-old anyway, designed it.
People that, salaries and crack ceiling together.
11% increase, right? 11.
And like that is the funding for another employee.
Correct.
That's with another one, yeah, because we lost.
Well, over the line, you want to pass a loss. We haven't tried them.
Oh, that's right, we're gonna get.
Yeah, we find right.
If we find it.
And that's basically half year increase.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, the other stuff is small, like compared to the overall.
And your road paving plan and all that, it's right on schedule.
Yeah, it's right on schedule. It seems like each year we're able to do just a little bit more, depending on how asphalt prices come. That's like, we have those numbers in there this year. There's a little bit of wiggle room, because you don't know what the asphalt price is gonna be like next year. The asphalt prices were pretty good this year, but no, we are meeting our goals. And like I said it before, we haven't come up with a plan. There's like 5 or 6 roads that are in really bad shape, and we obviously, when you do them, the paving crews come in, you can't have them, they'll charge you for each move. If you're gonna do one road here, one road there, so we kind of try to do our roads in groups. But there are 5 or 6 roads out there that are really bad, so if I do have excess money left over, we'll do a maintenance share, which will get them by a little bit. For example, West Street on the other side of the town, really bad. Sugar Hill on Marsville is really bad. There are sections of Marsville that are really bad. There's a section of Wickham Road that's really bad. We're actually gonna do some of that this year instead of a portion of town. Because the portion path is in better shape. And it doesn't get as much traffic. Wickham Road gets a lot of traffic. It's broken up. So we're in pretty good shape. I really think we come up with a grant, bang on those 5 or 6 roads that are really bad. Christian Hill's on the list for next year. We scaled down, working with Mr. Biddle, we scaled down how much reconstruction is going to be done on Christian Hill. For example, sidewalks and remain the same. I know sidewalks don't stay open in the water time because they're too small to plow the sidewalk machine. But instead of going in and reconstructing the whole road, we're just gonna go in and mill out all the bad spots and repave it. Because it's real simple, money's just not there. But Christian Hill is one of those roads that's really bad.
Is there a way to work with the sidewalk committee?
They don't have the funds for it. I've been working with them. One of their targets, they're providing money for the North Winchester and California Street project. Well, one of their big priorities they have is extending the sidewalk down Mill Road Street down to Pine and crossing onto it. And we're gonna do that and start on that in spring. We will likely, once again, rental equipment, we will likely go in there and do the excavation and preparation for it.
have some rough quotes from a concrete company, but we'll be able to get an accurate one until next year. What I'm hoping is maybe whoever's doing sidewalks for the contractor on North Winchester and California Street will take this in addition, and it may be more cost effective to have something like that happen. But that is going to happen next year, but you can correct me wrong, I don't think they have the funds to do anything with Christian Hill.
Yeah, it is based on the sidewalks, but it's because if you do the sidewalks, it makes the whole project more significant. It's not just the cost of replacing the sidewalk, it becomes a whole realignment.
And then, especially up there, we're not talking a couple of driveways, you're talking about reconstructing all the driveways. Even if you got ready to just put one sidewalk instead of the two, but now you gotta reconstruct all the driveways, reconstruct the front lawns. It's,
I think it's a triple.
yeah, and just, it's a bit of a real simple, it's like, you've got to come up with a different plan, because that's not going to work. They had initially, Larry Crowder, and I'm not sure who else had initially worked on that. When I first started doing this job, that's when he told me, you gotta cut something, and looked at the amount of traffic that was on Christian Hill, and that was the one that sacrificed, because the amount of traffic. It'd still be a good road, just, you're not gonna have functioning sidewalks in the winter. Maybe something will pop up with grants, but that's a big one, that would be a big undertaking. Just because there's so many houses in such a close proximity, and it's redoing all of it.
Maybe if we run the water line there in our town, we can do something like that.
I have one question. Can you explain to me how overtime comes into effect? Because the reason I asked that, by hiring this extra guy, could that go down?
No,
Because overtime is usually allowing.
yeah, there's not a lot of overtime, it's just a plow.
Plowing disasters.
I just wonder what overtime could say. You know, I know you have a schedule and.
It's 5 or 6 times a year with trees or flood damage.
Nighttime,
It's
gotta go out.
Car accident, they'll call sometimes for some sand, some barriers. Obviously during the floods, there was a lot of it, but the majority of it is snow plowing, there's no way around that. Like I said, we've been in pretty good shape with it. We use it some, when we're working with a contractor on a project, we'll authorize something. If the contractor's working a 9.5 hour day or something. But it doesn't get used, it's a pretty small number, it doesn't get used that much. Unless we have a really bad one.
What's driving the asphalt increase?
This is the amount we're doing. And I have the list right.
Yeah, the road we're planning to repave our Forest Ave Springs prospect.
And then Christian Hill.
I think I think Christian Hill is 26.
I thought Christian Hill was on CIP.
Because we got North Winch and.
Would that be a different line because?
I think it got moved because of the bridge. Yeah, it's not in the budget, right? I think it got moved because of bridge.
Yeah, I'm on a CIP island, so that was in there.
What are the ones we are scheduled for next year?
The repaving is Forest Ave, Spring Street and Prospect, so it's just like a little more than an overlay, but yeah. And then the reconstruction, go down and dig it all out. There's North Winchester Street and California Street.
That's the big one, right? Not Winchester Street.
Yeah.
Maybe someday when I go with you, we can go around and we show me all that.
Sure, we go, Forest Ave's in pretty bad shape, there's a lot of traffic on Forest Ave. Long, it's in pretty bad shape, we've done some patch stuff there. It's, I mean, that's obviously for the residents, their beats up their cars and stuff, but it really takes a toll on plow equipment and the roads around cars.
They came up to buy a Christmas tree.
Basically right across from North Winchester.
Oh, that's true, that was true. Where you split up in New Town, we need coming, not to get across New Town.
So he would be out there right for us.
Oh, okay, Pete Shot lives down there?
Yes.
Is that it? Okay, I get it. I never really get out that street.
So is that gonna be part of the slideshow? The additional work that's being done. So
We try to be vague about which roads, because often we end up subbing, but we can say that, I think we usually include what we're planning to do. I think it's one of the bullets. Sometimes circumstances change, so we try to say it's what we're projecting to do.
Yeah, so for example, Tap Road. DBS wanted some, part of that River Hill project, wanted some filtration swales and some of the challenges we've had, we kind of got agreed with them that we're not gonna do it this year. We'll look at doing it in good faith to do it in the future. So we were holding off on paving that, and then when I started looking at its condition compared to how bad Wickham Road was, we made that change.
Well, the two drivers are maybe, I mean, not maybe, one of them is a maybe and the other is the payer. Otherwise, your budget's almost still fine.
Yeah.
Really get the employee.
Like I said, there are a couple irons in the fire, things work out correctly, and, they're on a better idea what goes on, so we're here,
On the plowing,
Just here's the other thing, Paul Bassett is the seasonal that comes in and plows for us, and he lends that CDL. But each year he's not sure from summer back. He's starting to get up there in age, and each year he doesn't, he's like, I don't know, I can't promise you yet.
is that why you're thinking of the alternative of finally?
Well, I just think that even if I do hire somebody next year, if I do find somebody that Paul winds up leading, I may still need a contractor again next year, so.
If someone gets injured again, I mean, the truck goes down, it's good to have options.
Yeah. So.
Sometimes do just that. I think that's putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
I think having the options that we talked about going, so they can, it's good with your store.
And that's something you come back to us, if you're gonna do with the prices of that and
Yeah.
tell us all about it and say.
Yeah, once, like I said, I gotta iron out a couple more things, especially the insurance, and I don't wanna come to you and say, I wanna hire this person, and then they say, well, I can't meet those insurance requirements, because then I hear pretty significant.
Where are you gonna post that? I know we've offset that payroll, but which line items that we, or is that rental or
Right, yeah,
create a flowering line?
I think that would fall under the outside rental.
So increase that. Come back, we come up and sell, see everything else you can move.
Not agreed.
The increase in cat, it's gonna go 52, right?
No, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Big Hills, right, I think that has to, I think, I'm more comfortable with that, Big Hills, right?
Well, the other is.
But either way, it's. Gonna get it.
I agree. I like going with price.
Yeah, that's, yeah. So, man, still looking for an answer.
Yeah, you ask, you try to see if they'll answer you.
Increasing the outside line of the line item to lot number
1052.
52.
And then I'm gonna put the sand up with the salt. And do away with that line item and add sand to the salt line,
You can do away with the sand items
sand line, yeah.
and,
We're gonna add it to the salt, so sand and salt at the same.
got it. Thank you.
There we go.
Just for some reason, my stuff goes out.
Oh, and that's what was something you had, glad you put it down.
Goes like, oh,
I can't see it,
I thought you had to say it, so.
They don't give you shit like that anymore.
The BSNA cloud software program is phenomenal. I like it, really works really good. Yeah, but it's garbage in, garbage out. They've been up to date quite a bit, getting stuff posted, so it's nice to be able to have the same thing with our payroll program, great. I'm gonna go in and see. Well, program is great, so I can see that when that wasn't in effect, I can see them wanting to keep it.
Yeah, just click on it.
It puts and I find out exactly what goes, why it's really easy to track. So yeah, but with the example of the gas log one, just, there was a significant, we did a significant lot this year, they called it road widening, paving and drainage work. That's almost done, Allstate has a little bit more to do. Oliver Hill Road, we did the same thing, we eliminated the bad section of Barrow Road, improved some drainage, paved, and people up there were very happy. Portion of Hallbridge, which is dirt, was graded, and paved, and then, Town Road. One of the things to know with Oliver Hill, when Mike and I are working on it, a lot of people don't realize that the road that goes behind the post office is actually the town road. The road that comes to the Hall 32 is actually, we all thought Cold River Road, it's a air source easement. So we're trying to make that road the town road, and Cold River will assume the back road that they're working on.
Which they pay,
Which then, yeah, they provide, so I've
that
got,
road's in good shape now.
yeah, they provided the, we paid that, but they trucked the asphalt. So one of the big reps from Massachusetts, not like that, like, how are he knows of the plant, but couldn't understand what I was going. When you saw it, again, long story short, they donated 200 tons of asphalt, all state paid for that, help offset some of the costs of the pave. But if everything goes well next year, that road will be blocked off and both rivers. So we got Kevin met me out there when we were going over and saw firsthand, you could sit there and watch crazy girls on cell phones flying 40 miles an hour, it's crazy, payload going up the road, it's
And
problematic.
everything went right in our favor, the payload was there, doing this shit, and Joe's like, look at the
The
road.
guy,
We couldn't have been any more perfect.
So they're fully supportive of whatever we're gonna do, like, they have to get on perfect road, they have to get on the back. You know, even though they need. Well,
So you're laying out a new road and just continue. For our needs.
We gotta talk about one other thing, right? Joe?
yeah, the only other thing was asking for authorization of purchase and I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know.
well, we still have more budgets to go through. We haven't got the sewer budget or the bridge budget, no, that's it.
I'm going to do this.
And budget.
Oh, my geez.
Like a lot, yeah. The bottom of page 30 is the bridge budget, which is.
I don't even have a page, I mean, it's right there, right?
So we have something, I think I don't cover bridge lines, I don't think I bet it would bridge that, but I really can't.
Yeah, and we get the other phone lines up and running.
All right.
What's the number on the bridges? 431.
Right. Right, Joe? Oh, yeah, we have it done. How do we do this now? Oh,
Cover the bridge alarm, I've got zero somehow, but that should probably be increased to like 5,000.
So sleep, zero, at least be that. The little more as anyone starts to work on.
Yeah, but just email us something.
Yeah, I saw that.
5,000.
What we're then using to level funding. See the three.
It must have just been taken out.
I don't know.
So I'm 23 spending. 2 audits spent almost 4,000. And we were budgeted 2,500. And then we budgeted 2,500 again. So which was something extraordinary in 23.
The 23 activity is for the whole year, that's something on the current year going.
Regardless.
But regardless, yeah, I can check and see if there was a one. But it's better later. Versus the end of the.
And most of the repairs this year took place through, they build, the truck company directly and they pay for it, so it didn't get. I have one pending out here that I just received as well, I need to contact insurance company and see. So it's all over theirs, they've been paying directly, it was. Right, the rest of the truck, I'll be like, yeah, maybe an invoice, they'll have a check and I fall back up to the contract and make sure they get paid.
so you don't even get in the middle of that?
No, I just.
They go right to the weekly back?
I called the trucking company, explained, and they had trick. I said the contractor is not proposed for an X amount of dollars.
They paid the
They
contract?
said, send us the invoice, we'll pay.
So the reason it's over at night here is Windstream, which was our discount and phone service at the time. Billed us for like a whole year in the wrong either or something. So if you look back the year before that, it probably was under. So there was a $700 bill that. Yes, it should have been posted to the issue. Should have been at the buying there. So it would have still been a little. That we'll look into a little bit more about that should be. Depending on how the cameras are put in next year.
All it is on the warrants.
That's true.
That is what's wrong with the kid with the vandal or something. It's a little problematic.
But you know, state troopers on that. So can I ask you a question about the catch basins that you say you need that? Now, when we put them in, we have to have a filter system for the drainage.
DES is pushing filtering stormwater.
That's a big expense.
Oh, yes.
And do you feel that every time we go for the new catch basin, then we're gonna have to go that route?
Not necessarily, but the problem is that DES provides these grants and they provide some money towards these projects. And with that comes, we need to do what they're asking. For example, up on Weber Hill Road, they want to put plastic tanks everywhere for filtering the water and stuff. And the questions I asked, how long is this thing gonna last? What's the maintenance to it? How much is it gonna cost to replace it? And it was just the unknowns and it's just unnecessary. So we kind of compromise and went with filtration catch basin. And I don't know the science behind it. They're filtering rainwater that hits the ground.
It's confusing to me.
Yeah, I know.
Unless it's salt and sand that filters through. Cause it goes right up the river, all that drainage, right?
Yeah, some places, yes, but kind of hard to say no when they're providing money, something better to try. But some of it is. Some of it, what the complement doesn't do.
Got it.
And it's carry over with the pay. Basically registration fees for the state to come down and look at that and tell us what's wrong, and we make it better. But the license to register,
That's just the one time fee we're gonna get.
it's every year, once a year. So that's why I think it's
Very good. Damn, what years alone on
and expenses. And the last real more substantive one is the sewer stuff. So the sewer budget is broken down into 30 sub budgets. So it starts on page 5. So WW is West Swanzey. Waste. NSK is North Swansea heating and pass through. So that's the market basket. Matthews Road, Crystal Road's 13, and then Matthews. The last one, WW is lunch. So separate grades, separate economic. Road and the 3 levels. So first one is some. So.
Yeah, it is. Not much changes there.
Yeah, what are you including? On WW, the West one too. So what are you looking at?
Yeah, so the biggest one there, we increased the legal and professional services limit for Underwood to do. What's it, quarterly reports, Joe, or just reports?
Yeah, sampling and
Sampling.
it's required.
So that went up 7,000.
Right.
Okay,
And then the next one is the contracted operations, which is WSO plus the contract that they've been having to do weekends versus some of our staff doing a lot of work out the licensing and stuff.
and is that what we're training Josh on?
Yeah, hopefully the next thing we're going to work to get is licensed, but they are.
It's a ways away, but
Yeah, Josh has his task the test, but he's still ways away from.
always.
Some of the challenges we're having, with DES, they're being trained, Josh is being trained by WSO plus. DES is saying WSO plus doesn't have certified operators, because they won't give them a multi-plan operators endorsement. They have, I looked at the formula, and they have adequate staffing to be able to get it. And they won't give it to us. They have an attorney involved in it. We got our attorney look at it and kind of feel the same way that we're not getting, they're not getting a fair shake. And we don't know where it's at. WSO Plus doesn't know where it's at. Mike and I had a rather interesting meeting with BDF and the benefits of my names. There's a father and son with same licensing area that definitely seem to have an issue with WSO Plus. But for example, they don't do compliance checks, but they came and did a surprise inspection on our plant. And that was telling us all about safety and that they saw deficiencies. So Mike was quick to point out to them, well, you did this in May, and we never got a letter with these deficiencies. We're just learning about it now because months, 2-3 months later, we asked for a meeting, and now you're telling me.
Come on, you thought them right on it. What they do, bubble away,
Yeah, very much. Yeah, so.
no kid could call me.
So, yeah, so we're hoping to work through with them, but depending on how things go, it's time to get the governor's office involved. But if we lose WSO plus, there's
Jimmy, you better start working on your license.
Yeah, you better work, it's like, there's, again, it's.
That one person be nice.
Good. You do. A couple possible, like I said, I've talked to WSO Plus, and be working under their license, we looked at put a part-time operator, a part-time town employee on it to save us money on the weekends. If we can make it work with WSO
They have to
Plus.
be trained.
No, it's first, and it's from Massachusetts, and it's licensed,
Oh,
lives in that,
oh,
lives in that, so there's potential for that to work out, only part-time. Help us save a little money, but the big thing is up in the area now is this, it's the multi-lane enforcement. And, we're kind of don't know where it's going to go.
So we leave that one, the legal professional, and through August, you would overspend what you're asking for. You anticipate that next year it's going to be different.
So, it's involved in that, like, it's.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at, because I know we did look at what we spent.
talking about the good because. Budgeted 5, so 14. Well, over 9,000.
We had a couple larger bills, 5,000, 3,000. I don't think we're, I was able to say, they might be done. That would be done.
You would anticipate that the last third of the year is going to happen.
There's none pending right now that I'm aware of legal or any of that.
We had one more. We had January, March, May, so there's probably been a small one in August, but. there might be another.
There's a lot to. One of the biggest challenges for those smart plants is how old it is, a lot of equipment is on the line, and then EPA just, they warned me. That the state warned me that EPA is going to make a hundred to get your permit. And in order to meet the requirements of the permit, it's going to require upgrades to the plant. Upgrades, so it's like, the worst one is pump stations and equipment. The assets out there are great, they're really knock on wood, no issues out there. Over here, west one, for that Spring Street pump stations, something's gonna have to be done with it. A little more when we're down the planning side as far as what recommendations they're going to make.
Like adding a little room.
No, like replacing that pump station and then looking at different ways to treat the wastewater. I mean,
It's almost maxed out on.
where the pump you can get, so on.
It is if you want to.
Still a couple things that's in here. But it's a really additional cost. That should be with that. Services.
For the GRS.
Yeah.
No, I think that's something back there, the license for that.
We just did. Remember, meeting. Or congregated.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's another program that's very, very helpful.
Stormwater and asset management plan still under side.
Where's your thing that's lying, you know, lying, they're.
We'll look at some of the expenses related to the Spring Street pump station.
Pump station issues and repairs there. I think the building stuff we've been doing at CIP. One thing I need to do, I heard about the water bottle, I need to buy some silly here, we're going to be pump station this year. Haven't gotten to that yet, that is coming. But the roofs and such, we've been doing it, the facilities have just been CIP. Probably don't have the board at some point will fall fast, it gets back to work. The building that where the affluent gets discharged into the river, I don't know what the name exactly, but the building's falling on it, needs to be really done. Rough estimate, just thinking that's to be somewhere in that. $20,000 in materials and the piece, like a hot top and then fall past it, you can look at it and then gets the materials together with something that really work for, but basically it's a completely rebuild, re-roof, and that's something that needs to be done this year, but it'll come from CIP.
Is that a small foundation with the roof right on top of it, and they got, you can walk in it under the racks?
You walk on top of
The racks, so you can see the water down
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.
And it comes off of the big building, and then it goes down to that.
That's one of them. The big building's roof needs a little bit of maintenance to it. But the roof there is pretty
Like,
good.
how we put a roof on that small building, we didn't.
No, we did everything that one corresponds to that.
Oh, that's where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's one.
We did the pump station last year.
Yeah, you had your guys do that.
The CIP, we looked at the CIP bunch, are in pretty good shape.
So you feel it's 5,000. And estimated chemicals line is 690. If we stay on track, everything's in space. We'll be at 36 this year.
So. Did you get a lot of your chemicals in the summer?
You treat, they're dealing with the path in the summer months, so that goes up. I think we're gonna be in pretty good shape there.
Yeah, like in September or October, so far we don't expect it to pass, so I think it is a one that suits it.
Because in the winter time, they aren't getting in as much pack, and when they start going in the spring, and say, about something.
So on North Swansea wastewater, we're gonna cut down the contract operations, right? Contract operation thing. You're gonna.
It's kind of adjusting the one north is down a little bit and west is up a lot. How mostly implement. I think they're kind of definitely more consuming than the west.
North is once a week check in, and if everything's going well, and the box about it. You know,
North is in pretty good shape.
yeah,
So North is basically just goes from there and pumps the key, right? It's just clean.
yeah.
We don't have any treatment in,
No.
just the treatment is over here. That's the only thing we got.
So one of the things we're gonna look at is in the future. Part of the study is, does it make sense to abandon this room system and run a force main that 5 West Swansea in the key? We have before we own a portion of Phil Love's land for there, we could easily pave it and then some. But it may be more cost effective to do that than try upgrading the road system.
So let me ask something. If we did that, would you go from there to the North Swansea pump house and then send it, or would we have a direct line from that one?
I think that's where the engineers come in. I think Heat Road would be the way to go, and then you do water while you're doing it, and around the whole way, tie in as many ways you can to the system. Be a pretty substantial project, but to update everything that would go in system into a major overhaul, it's, we don't know what, millions and millions.
I think in Winchester, there, I don't know if they have a treatment system or lagoons, but I think $4 or $5 million.
Is this something we're gonna be doing with? Pretty close to it, and
Oh, yeah.
that idea, getting new boards.
Oh, yeah. I think these, very proud, there's a reason why the sewer commission, they wanted to. They handed us a bow tie and said, there, everything's great. And I agreed to do it without realizing. Yeah, it's, hopefully things go well with the contractors for the most part. They've been great, they've responded, we haven't any issues, and, So for a couple of late reports early on, the state didn't find, but yes, it was not like that.
So just tell me about Swanzey River. So what is that?
Swanzey River.
When they go down and the pump breaks down in there, where does that go from there?
That one pumps, it just pumps, no, it pumps up to a catch basin and then it goes gravity the rest of the way. It collects a lot of this off the hill.
Does that go to north or west?
West.
Oh, so it goes to the street.
So lift station, we just,
That's all that is.
Spring Street's low and they get it up over the hill.
I get it. So it's just a lift station, keep it moving.
And
And then once you get up there, you get the gravity to take the rest of it.
yeah,
It's their eight roads, so.
It'll be,
Along the round trip.
it'll be due by the time we do that.
that's funny, you say you just did eat road, but what?
Sorry, that's 5 years.
This is your dad's son.
But
One of the long weird
I can't run it anywhere.
But you're 5, 6 years by the time that comes to rush out. Every 10 years, you road, especially something that's traveled with trucks, every 10 years you have to plan on doing something. But the King talked about it, we haven't had any discussions, and that's part of the thing, that the guys are looking, but King discussed that there were a lot of regional grants for regionalizing. King was the one who brought it to our attention that would we be interested in?
Nice.
Yeah, we were, oh, definitely. So it brings money for them. Yeah, they've got, that's a state of the art, they got long flows. And let's face it, King's not gonna have that much more development, they're running out of room, so.
So they're coming our way, Joe.
But in the situation we're in, I don't know, see what the engineer said. I'm definitely no expert on it, but when you look at it, it's more cost effective and it's one and done. And to give the opportunity to have infrastructure. You can dig up the road, you might as well do water line on the other side of the road or there's a. Let's see what's big, roll by drain. Probably really good with this one, it's not like 15, it's sewer alone would be 8 million time, looking rough numbers.
Fair to say, it'll be your chairmanship side of it.
For the state sense, really.
You know, I'm mediating, but not like them. Like, say, for example, if they were to look at, they want to do something right away with the building, they would have to look at retreatment. But that the engineer work with that, look at retreatment facility before it comes to us.
You can't handle them.
The phosphorus,
And regulation.
yeah. And they keep tightening up, the regulations, so.
It is gonna be among this, it's the phosphorus and it's the. Right?
Yeah, we have a little bit more room for flow, but we can't take any more forwards, phosphorus will be over. But what's coming out soon is we're treating the phosphorus with TAC. It's an acronym for poly. Chemical, I'm not sure exactly, but that creates metal issues, which we're not required to meet those requirements, but that's coming in pipeline. So the more you treat with a TAC, the more issues you have with the metals. And once you have requirements that you need to meet the limits of the metals, now you have not something else you have an issue with. They go and see, they would stop.
Things. So is that service coming out of?
No, I think that's a. But I think I was looking with, that's one of those would be similar, maybe a little bit less. So. I think that's every.
So we're gonna end up being closer.
Right. Thanks for correct.
I want. So, yes. We're gonna purchase that debris roll for the front of the sidewalk machine, obviously, my operating budget's in good shape, I don't want to buy it out of that. We have a real fortune here with, equipment breakdown, with not having equipment breakdowns and vehicle repairs, we're doing very well with those line items. The lower that goes right in front of the track was $5, it's $99.
expected to go up to about 10.5 after January 1st. The YMP Bearville telling me, but it's something that can be used for blowing leaves out of drainage swales, blowing leaves inside the cemetery, cleaning sidewalks, cleaning roads prior to paving. I'm sure I'm missing something. Rail trail, yeah, we definitely use it on the rail trail, but it's a real heavy duty blower.
But Joe, it also blows snow.
Yeah, I showed you video, yeah, well, it blows
I
snow
saw
up.
you that, and it does a really good job.
Yeah, it's very heavy.
I mean, you aim that pipe straight down,
Yeah,
and then you go, and it just, there had to be 2 inches of snow, 3 inches of snow on that, and I watched it.
yeah.
Pretty cool machine. I think it would save a lot of money. Wear and tear on lots of shit, and
And then like some, like, obviously that study, the Swanzey Lake study, there's a question about banking, which is riprap. So we're riprapping a large portion of the swale on East Shore Road right now, which had a lot of positive comments on. But trying to keep that swale clear of debris. Once you put the riprap in there, you can't dig. You can't dig it, so you have to blow it out. And it would take guys 2-3 days with small leaf blowers to blow it out. So this would be simply driving it down once or twice a year and blowing it out. Same thing on Matthews Road. Over on Matthews Road, we have a culvert that floods with leaves. Like every time we get heavy rains, you have to go out there and manually get the leaves out of there because all the leaves come off the hill and they flood up the whole drainage swale. Plug up the culvert and the water comes over the road and takes out the neighbor's driveway.
if we have to take that on the other end of Swanky, do you put it on the trailer and then?
No, I think we would do 30 miles.
Right around the road, back?
Yeah, it does 30 miles an hour. I think it moves right along.
We'll get run over on Matthews Road.
Yeah.
There'll be traffic control, speed control.
Yeah, we drive that all the way up to North Swansea to do the sidewalks up there. Like right now, it's doing roadside mowing. We'll leave it at Sly's facility. We'll leave it in certain areas, houses we have permission. But yeah, no, it drives all around. When they go out to do sidewalks, they drive.
And those areas today, wasn't it?
That's right. He's going to bring it to the trick or treating event at Brown Field. They're gonna clean it up on
He's
Friday.
gonna blow some kids around.
Yeah, and they're gonna bring that down for the trick or treating event. Stop Pat looks agree to do it, so.
Scott Patton that owns Swansea Oil?
No, that works for me.
Oh,
Scott, that's his brother.
that's my one.
Yeah. Spends lots of time in the mowing machine in summertime. And that's worked out great buying that, not using a contractor to mow. Anytime you finish up the project and you have 3-4 hours at the end of the day, you think of something to do, we put somebody in that mower and it goes out mowing a weekly basis. Anytime, we're just about done with everything for the year. We started a little early, so like some areas we hit it second time, but every road in town that needs to get mowed.
Well, I don't know, I'm a big believer in the right tools save time, energy and all that. So I think it'd be a big asset for the town to own that. And especially the way he wants to pay for anything on the budget. And the money isn't like we're adding or something. I think it's a smart idea. I like to make a motion that we buy it.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's coming out of your operating budget. right?
Yes.
Good deal.
Okay, a generator.
Yeah, so we still don't know who, so there's a generator up on Mount Caesar that provides backup power for the police department. And the fire department's here system, the generator is in bad shape. It's not,
Emergency management.
I think Tom DeAngelis told me it was purchased by emergency management. I don't know, but it either needs, you see the number on there, $3,000.
And it's the
No, it's a double amount.
We talked to Bruce,
I did not talk to Bruce, I talked to Tom about it.
and he might know
That,
if you need some information on it.
so as part of our annual, we've been doing the generator, right now, furnaces are being inspected, alarm systems, sprinkler systems, all that maintenance in the facilities is being done right now. Kenny Electric went around with members of my crew inspecting all the generators. My crew is gonna do the oil changes, the antifreeze checks. Kenny's gonna do the electrical end of things, and they found that generator is in need of a lot of work. It's like approximately 15 years old. I can't. The exact numbers, I don't forget, Frank.
I can't remember, but,
It's either 32,
no, that's just the way it's formed combined, it's either
3,200 or
6,500.
Either or.
either way.
Either or, those are the two, and I think the form is combined them. It's approximately 15 years old or more. I can't really see. It's up to the board. But like I said, it's not operational right now, which is very important. to
So
have
if the
that.
generators replaced all in this 65, all in 6,500.
Or we do those repairs for 15. It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, but. And it's not operating right now.
I saw the Romans.
So where's that money coming from? That you were zero.
We have the emergency
I
management.
thought this still got some Hamilton's generator.
Not, this is the repeater up on the mountain.
It's behind the car.
There's a, up on the top, on top of the mountain, there's a repeater that makes it so the radios work. The radios and the cruisers and the fire trucks. There's also a light, but I assume for the airport. There's a beacon light up there, so if you lose power right now, the repeater's down, and that light's not working.
Cause it's not even running right now. Morning run. What's the time span on something like this? If we said, okay, we can do it right away?
Kenny's been real quick to respond with the towns and that stuff, so there hasn't, unless there was a supply issue.
We funded from the emergency management facilities and equipment expendable trust fund.
I think though, probably moving forward, that generator should probably fall under either police or fire. Or split between the two.
I'm sure where it is, we only have one person who's in charge.
Yeah. Or they'd say leave it in emergency management.
Leave it,
Yeah.
so that you're
Well,
you're maintaining it.
I'm still, even though it's not like, I'm still doing the maintenance of the generators for the fire department, the police station, but all that I'm dealing with right now. It just where the money comes from is falling into those.
These generators that you talk about, well, we bought the generators, they don't have a plan of them coming out and maintaining them, a couple like power generator.
Yeah,
I bought two and power generator comes out every year.
Yeah.
Which, and they make sure it runs and they check everything.
yeah, that's basically sort of Kenny Electric has been working with our crew. We've been doing a lot of the work ourselves. Kenny Electric helps us with the electrical end of things.
I see.
We had some issues with power generator with our annual inspections and then some of the work that they were proposing, the cost of it. So it's been working pretty good so far, but yeah, they generate all the inspected at least once a year.
The bottom line is we have to
We have
fix
to
it.
do something.
But the two options we got is repair it or buy a new, one, and it has to be done.
Yeah.
And you said that the old one is that we would repair is how old?
It was sold approximately 15 years.
Right, so. I would imagine this is a no-brainer, right? We gotta just put a new one up there for the next 2,800 or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, Bill? I'll make the motion that we invest in the new generator up from top of the hill.
So it's just be the 6,500?
8,500.
Second. And it's coming out of the,
Emergency management. Facilities and equipment expendable trust fund,
all in favor, say aye.
Right.
That's the balance.
45,000. We want to very briefly just mention Weber Hill, seems like we're going in a good direction.
Yeah, so we've got some good progress going on that. Now it's making sure that it's going to work out numbers wise. So as you know, we ran through the issue with the initial design and unexpected amounts of water, which we have that mitigated. So when we contracted with Board Services, we asked that, and we did, Mike and I and the engineers, there's something you could do differently with this to save money. This is a funding plan, and so they came back with that they thought they could build a block retaining wall, which is like the one that was already built on the other side. So they said they were gonna look into that, which they did, and started some of the work with the trees, the foundation preparation, after we found water issues. So they started looking into the block wall. The block wall company said it's not gonna work with your conditions. The block wall company also raised some concerns about the initial design. about municipal water and the issues that they're experiencing. They come up with a second wall company called Strong. It's essentially the same type of block wall, but the blocks are sizable, 1 ton pickup truck wide and long. They are morally confident their system will work, it will not require any geogridding. The engineer, right, our engineers are looking at to make sure that it's close to meet the industry specs, which they think it will. And now we're working on tossing it out. If all goes well by Friday and Monday, we should have change done and green light to move forward back into the work.
With all the water that's there, we have to base.
We did, we had to do a change order, and so we excavated out approximately 4 to 5 feet of unstable material and brought in box wedge. We also put it under drain. I actually had a basin that's given to the town by WR Construction. They were finished each project. They all get them after we go on some concrete basins that they had extras of them. We want to put in one of those basins in the ground with permission DOT. They put a new outlet pipe going across South Road and discharge it there. So the water problems been mitigated, but it's solid as it be. But now it's just getting that side of that wall. It's a whole lot of material behind it without the geogrid. And it sounds promising. It's good. Of course, it's going to be the number.
So we haven't had to use that geogrid with that stabilizes the wall to the ground, but it would be extremely lot more money, right?
So these blocks are gonna cost more money, but these blocks are gonna require less of them. It's like 6,800 square feet versus 10,000 square feet. Okay, and with the other wall, you needed so many feet of the geogrid to go back into the plane. This wall, they say they'll need it. And we're just confirming that, and so we think it'll come out. If we use these big blocks, no other excavation has to be
Might luck out, we're only in the same area, right?
or less.
Did you have to cut across South Road when you were just talking about what the guy goes in?
Across the base.
You cut the road, the culvert under the road? So it connects to that basin in the bottom,
Yeah,
and then it finds another water will lead into that basin to the leg, and pour across the road.
yeah, we have under drain going to the basin. And that holes in the basin, so water reaches in that basin, it raises up and goes out the outlet pipe. And that, our crew actually worked with board services to cut down some of the costs, and we did that work together with the state on that, we did work that pretty well.
So the only bad news I see is that we're not gonna get any block for the town hall.
No, we're still gonna get blocked for the town hall, just it may not be the second block, that's gonna get done this year, so. I actually sent an email to the door guy. I got an outlet installed for the new handicap door down home. He just emailed the supplier for a ship date. So as that door gets installed, we're gonna, hopefully the door should be done before we get into the later part of November. If it winds up being later part of November, we can go on May. I want to get one where you gotta do the ground overnight, it's very costly. So at the very least, the door will go in and that back wall will be fixed. The back retaining wall will be done this year. Because you may,
Oh, you got the wall, even if,
it's the back wall, yeah. That's our day or two project.
okay.
Any special costs or bigger blocks, something like anything.
No, the big excavator, you can get them up, just they are more expensive. And then the only other cost, additional cost, would be that it's got an asset fence on it. My opinion is, 20-foot drop, and that's to get you all that bicycle. We can talk, it's well off the road and all, but it just is no, without it.
Yeah, but it's gonna be, that wall isn't going all the way to the top,
20 feet up,
20 feet up.
approximately.
So then you're gonna have the road, you're gonna have some growth,
You're gonna have the road slow.
and then the fence.
20-foot drop.
Then the fence hooked to the, so if they went over to the grass, it would have fence, it would. Yeah, that would be, that's a,
You know, young teenage kids, they're gonna be out messing around and somebody falls, that's. Kind of like we did at the dam, but the initial design of the dam didn't have a.
I couldn't believe that. The day we looked at the planes and happened.
That's all blows out and that. They operated.
I had a lot of people come down and tell me that they were so pleased with a lady that lives up there. down and she said it was beautiful. They love going there, just looking at it. I said, yeah, what lights go on it? And we light it up at night. They change colors of it. I still disagree with you, Don. We're gonna have to clean it.
No, well, that's already come over. You may have to clean the rocks off the bottom. A lot of that stuff's come over. It's not flowing water right now.
It is going over the top.
It was, but it's not, all the debris had, yeah.
It did.
And then it went down when the water dropped down. Water's not coming over right now, so that's good. That's not what's coming over.
It did come over. I'm sorry.
How much did we spend on striping this year? Cost wise, just off the number.
I can pull it out, it's like 30 and 40.
1,000?
With all the emphasis that we have with the sidewalks and the rail trail, clock blocks, that. Are we getting, would you be able to look to determine if we're getting to the point we should have a machine?
I don't. When it comes to the training, the personnel to run it, it's a little guys do that every day, they're pretty good at it.
Do it overnight.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
Come on, me and Bill can do that. Get the machine.
So
It's stencils. We put it right in the street, don't you? It's not my way. Get stencils, lay it highway market.
yeah,
A couple of lines.
Around 15,000.
but yeah, like I said, you gotta train people and. Like I said, we have a fairly small crew. Again, the cost of doing that, I have to say that some of them, I don't want to actually reach that. Because we had,
I think it was a good
you
question.
can stay on the state road sometimes with the guy. who's struggling.
That's good. Down there.
It's just interesting. There's so much being allocated now towards recreation and walking in particular, which is great.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Those lines would be like this.
Yeah.
Rec department can strike the road, strike it wall, almost there, but that's recreation.
So the rear train going across the Matthews Road, did he press up now, since you're gonna put the lights over there, sign? You got one else. It's pretty. Is that gonna happen?
We're applying for, so it depends what they think.
Oh, okay.
Part of the side.
Well, Joe, we show you a pot. But I think you came out with what you wanted.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased with where they can go on it, like I said, see where things go, so I see the sewer and then the staff and we'll see where things go, I think we're gonna be good for the winter and. See what comes up in the spring.
We're gonna get no snow this year, Jeff.
If you're right.
The overall budget totally goes out.
We need to get out in sewer and. 1.5 million.
We're not wrong with that. That's green suits. Green peas.
We had a municipal golf course on that.
Be all for that.
We put a nice golf course in, Joe was favorite of that.
So when I won that golf trip, but I was in that, Trevor Jones golf trip was funded by the state, they invested in state retirement system, we do it when they get that one. Golf courses, 26 courses now, and that are, this Trevor Jones designers no longer alive, but they funded it, most of it was funded by the state retirement system.
I wonder if they're stopping.
Actually, the places are doing really well.
Good. Larry, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Molly.
Thank you.
How we go?
You need to be here for bridge report, repair and then Thompson.
Got the last bill for $1,000.
So got this money.
Be sitting down.
Another 70,000.
Yeah, it's only looking at the top.
Rolls together, it's all.
I don't know, I can find it pretty quick.
What was your original?
389. But the 389 was with a projected 30% reclamation of the deck. We got to reclaim like, basically you got to do that.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Is it all Cold River or did somebody get?
Cold River and then all state. All state made it.
Their figure was regardless.
No, because the line item that was in there after, very expensive. I already had almost paid it at our contract price. So you save this one, third thought. And the net brain, it's already included in that. That's older, yeah, the only one we paid were all state and over the.
Was 508 before this and not including payment? That's 70.
What's the 570?
You did go less for that. Kind of slow on the payments.
Yeah, I'll say because bridges are. The good news that it would be good for a long gone, and that needs something again.
Yeah, you put that to bed for a while.
And they did some extra stuff first too. They went in and made some of the sidewalk was flush, so the sidewalk plows were to catch in. They actually, the older gym from down with the inspection and didn't like one of the edges, and we did it all. So, yeah, we're gonna a long time before that needs something again.
You know, Joe, you say that, and I never realized, I had a guy at my restaurant that plowed for some town area. And he was going over a bridge and he woke up on the hood of the excavator. Or whatever he was driving. It dug in and hit the edge of the bridge. He went through the windshield and woke up and covered with blood. And a guy came over and he went right out the front. He comes in my restaurant, it's all sky. Last year, he told me the story. He just hit that metal edge or something and it just stopped him and he went. So those metal edges and everything, they really mess you up on those. And they probably kill equipment, right? Kill it like that.
Plowing in the spring when it warms up, with trucks will, Vermont had that last year. Truck dug in the ground and then truck rode it, the plow stays where it is, and the truck rides up over the plow and tips over it. It happens, it's dangerous to plow when it's.
Yeah, I never realized, I never thought of that.
Is the 389 include the asphalt?
The initial estimate was the 389, including the asphalt and all in. Yeah, so it did, all the extra costs was the cost of those rust inhibitors we added to the concrete, get rid of the terminal, but then it was just
Electro.
60% more of the deck hadn't done, 50-60%, that was the cost.
So 204,000.
Sacrificial things. But plus whatever you gave them, so. Probably wouldn't be.
So
Those are the three.
did not include the payment.
You know, they initially did. Well, when we saw that we were that well over on the budget, the bridge, I looked at things and I saw the number they had quoted for asphalt, it was saying actually. Yeah, I don't did all get the,
Yeah.
I asked the general contractor if I could, if he was in agreement, so we could just use all state to pay it. He said yes, so we used all state to pay it.
Let's make sure we get that all stated invoice and don't fly this, that doesn't get much.
It's 100 times. I do. It's home is gonna be a separate invoice. I don't know if I see it again.
Okay. I saw one for 67,000 in September, right?
Yeah, that's not.
So I said the asphalt were 578.
With 100 ton of asphalt, so it's gonna be somewhere around 10 grand. Yeah,
Oh, only, that's what you have, so you think you're gonna come under six?
sounds big, like,
So it's a little over two. That's right. Okay. That done?
yeah, he gave us a worst case scenario. For 7 change.
Yeah, quite many.
So where do you want the 75 a week to come from?
Well, let's, so you think they're ten for payment, or let's see the number, so we can, so we don't have to come back when we get that.
We get, we were 100 ton. Let's say, well,
So, what's 100 ton? 15 grand?
actually, 194 all day, you know.
Flaggers and mobilizations.
Yeah,
1,000 bond.
let's say 15 grand if you don't want to come back. It's only $9,400 there, I can go ahead of. Maybe 12.
85.
85,000. That's what we're looking to fund, and the choices are municipal transportation, what I do is permits. Theme of
We haven't
Second
decided.
to be accepted for 17 or in destination for unit of affordable housing grant out there. We wanted to come out of the municipal transportation and going slow down like reality.
Yeah, that's the best.
Municipal transportation is probably the best fit.
Whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth splitting. The FEMA ones where we haven't accepted to be added on, that would be okay too, though. They're gonna have trouble with having a concern with paying the bill. We haven't accepted the funds yet. It's relatively important now, but
Yeah. At 85,000.
I'll make that motion second.
Should make it seconded, all in favor, say aye. Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Vendor meeting schedule.
I think we really have to say the whole thing on that election day, really.
Yeah, that would be done.
he's gonna be in Richmond. He's gonna be in Richmond campaign.
On ballot, right?
That's right. Can't hold the sign in Swanzey.
Open sign, you can't do it at Sunday.
Well, we can take shit out, go out and hold the sign, but I did. I'll take it on hold the sign.
Let's see what the weather is.
Yeah, because the day I spilled that roads. It was cold and
What's that?
windy.
It does not feel bad for you out the last year. He's been out there.
Why you were up there in the river bowl?
Was it better than snow?
Well, I don't care about that. That wind was a bitch that day, wasn't it? Oh, thank you up there. I just stood in the radio, so it's fine. Yeah, you were like my everybody.
We'll have that short meeting. After
Where was that?
8 hours.
Page
Satisfy the fullness.
Page 7?
30. The other way,
Back to begin of this.
the other way.
So this right there. President Biden.
So what are you saying? We're gonna have a meeting on the 13th.
We'll have a meeting on the 5th, but not the 6th. For there.
Hopefully we'll do what we did the other time.
Yeah.
And, Bill's gonna take minutes on that one.
Absolutely. Like
We didn't show them the last time, so I'm not gonna count on it.
famous.
I'm not gonna count on any faith. My mate said, I'll say it like that. And we all knew that. We are.
It was at my course next.
Yeah.
13, police department, recreation and town hall on budget.
Is that what we have left on budget? Just those three now.
The big ones and then might be the smaller ones are follow-ups, but those are the big ones left. 28 was follow-ups, 27. Break bread for the day before Thanksgiving and not eat.
It's like an easy month.
Get me to do the election.
Or Wednesdays.
So when we follow up on the budget, that means we're going to. We're going to blank soon again, make sure we're having more questions and then. Then we. Then we'll go down and we want that, we just got to go.
Let me share their prices. Yeah, she. And.
So, are we making a, well, we don't have to make a motion, so, yeah, so.
The whole business.
Nothing's older and administrative, but we had a joint meeting with the board of commissioners on Monday. We gave a preliminary agreement for even split of the running the wire line, the Valley Creek development towards the town project. They're down property, the 321, Old Homestead Highway, over down the recent paying 70,000 for that project. So we're looking to the board to officially authorize that, identify a funding source for 70,000.
That's that age.
I think so, because it's still, still a medical evaluation, probably, so. it's better. Hopefully not getting the full of that part of the license, so I'm still hoping to show. so. It would be a motion for 70,000, right?
And if you better one. 80. Well, the number that we should solve is 280.
We only agreed to 7 them. Yes, for like forward. It's over, that's his problem.
It wasn't a percentage she gave us in that number. It wasn't like we were splitting in 3 ways. It was gonna be, this number for you, this number for us, and we gotta get the balance.
Who's paying for it?
What side of the crowd are you going to?
Well, like, part of the bunch of people, so right. Just looking at if there's any other expenses. So
Yeah, make it 7.5. Incidentals.
That's a good job on the fact about making. Third value. Then we have to already.
Yeah, but that's an H. So you that's affordable housing, invest in H.
Was it a little up and down or was it right up? Make a motion.
but I think about the best image.
For 75 for.
Which that means they're definitely gonna do it. I mean, it's this page.
Let's move into one of them, yeah. For the water precinct, so. It's like a whole amount, but I think we can just do one. Yeah, I think they get dogs like that, so maybe we can just sort of either go ahead and adjust to. One of the this town, right? Right, I mean, only to transfer. To the panel. You would think. I would. Maybe just because we're gonna wait till it's done and that's it out.
This is the moment that I could just bring up one of my concerns and see that what you guys think, like, well, and to me, I'm a little nervous about the guy that owns the apartments, that he's the guy that's hiring the people that are under the water line. And the reason being, I say this. Think about him, he's gonna wanna get this done as reasonable as he can, right? But not thinking of what's gonna happen in the future, you know? Who's gonna cover that? It's gonna be you guys, right?
That's why we wanted. Somebody like Larry Crowder to be our engineer on site.
Oh, so I missed that.
Just his role in our conversation with the superintendent of the water.
Right.
It's. In other words, this is the conversation I had with him now, is not superintendent.
I get it, I get it. Okay, so my concern is that, you know, I just want to be careful that we're gonna get this. He isn't gonna be the guy that's gonna say, this, we're just saying, you know, as cheap as I can. Is it gonna be my responsibility afterwards when it breaks? Okay,
But we did give the engineer the construction standards that we have. That anybody has to follow, whether it's in the road or it's, you know, in the run.
okay.
So.
Well, see, I'll be comfortable if you guys are, because like you said, and you guys are gonna be the one that's gonna maintain this.
So that's the thing, if it doesn't,
I was just looking out to protect Swanzey.
if it doesn't meet our spec, we don't accept it.
Yeah,
And then we don't have. We don't accept it, that's okay at the end.
that's awesome. We just took that word on it. I had to ask because I was thinking about it.
Good question.
Yeah, it's, yeah. But I'm happy now that was.
Do we know that this runs it? At the whole property?
It's not, I don't think it would be the whole project, it would be.
It's right on the line. It goes past his driveway.
You know, do you think about it?
Well,
What is that?
up to about, we might see it or we're getting from paint on, it's, but. Actually, you know, that everything. You don't want it to end in the driveway.
What is our 75,000? Where is it at? Where is it now? It's 75,000. On the door, on the town property, or
No, just, yeah, his property line. Really, the plans I saw was just past his driveway. They're gonna have it in that back of the block. He's gonna have a hydrant on the corner of the previous corner of this one.
That we have to figure out from there. So should we find out what that cost is?
It's up to you. If you think it's getting it very close and good enough, or if you want to try to do that last leg, it's.
So it's like, that guy building, this is our lot, right?
Yep.
Coming up the road, right? You're saying it's gonna come to about here,
A little bit further.
a little bit further above. Now, is he putting another building over here?
Yeah.
Okay, so what Billy's talking about, what it's gonna cost for us to get it to here, right? So, and do we know the distance of that? Is it like 50 feet, did you say? One.
It's a guess, it's a
But really, why would we not even think about that until?
Well, he designed, he had his engineer design, I believe it was to bring water to his property. He wasn't looking to bring it to 321 Homestead now. You know, he did approach it about his landowners, we go on the property.
That's why we're looking at 70,000.
So that come with. It seems to me we want to run it at the same time as opposed to going.
Well, it'd be nice to have it on his property, yeah, and, you know, for there.
See, I think we should get him with for the 75,000 pounds for him. You gotta reach out to market. You know, I think we should try that one first. Say, we just want to be on understanding that it is gonna reach out property with the 79. How does that work, Si? I mean, they just put the lightning back off and then they live there to meet it.
Yeah, well,
They'll be on that gate. And then we connect onto that to bring to the building.
the line on the other side of the road that went to Flatley, the 202 units.
Yeah.
It ended at a fire hydrant. It's a gate. And a wall. So Flatley basically dug the trench, put the block on, put the pipe into the valve, and connected it, and extended the water main down to their driveway at that time. And then put the same valve of water again.
When you say the block, that's called the hammer block, like when the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where would you guys want it to end for future?
Well-
Out of the town, the water,
Yeah.
where would you want it to end?
Well, I think Jeff property actually ends on that side of the road anyway. You know, I don't see anything going further south across from the end of the Tarpon Fox or any of that. I don't think there'll be development there, but further down maybe, but
You mean in between us and Webb, this,
yes.
yeah.
I don't think
What about on the other side of the road? Is this all residential houses over here?
Yeah,
Business. But yes.
I think the business zone ends at 321, so at least on that side.
Yeah.
Go up to 80 and I'll talk to them and see. I can't imagine we can't get it 70 or 100 feet for any. But
I think you misunderstood me. We settled on 70, right? He's showing the 5 in there for the extra, for incidentals, nothing to do with getting us here. What we'd like to approach is, we tell him that for our 70,000 that we're putting in, we want to make sure you reach our property. Correct, Bill? And then he's saying, so the extra in case we have anything else, we don't want to give him 75 and say, now bring it there. Because you're thinking in your head, we're throwing 5,000 to reach there. That's not what I think we meant, right, Bill?
I'm just thinking we had a deal that we were putting in 70 to get to where he was going to. So I feel like.
but I think we could talk to him,
But yeah,
you know,
And say,
see if we go down. Yeah,
I think we should try that.
at their labor rate, you know, they're starting. So a few thousand at the pipe, or they do, you know what?
Right. I feel good about that because I still think that if this doesn't go through the fire department, we're in the area where we're retrieving our money.
Oh, yeah.
Having water and stored in it. If we went up over that, then it'd be something like, oh shit, you know, and we discussed that and we agreed about that, right? So I think you guys are really good coming up with that and you putting in that money too. And they were pretty happy about it, your company. About that,
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something that we'd actually planned for, but
yeah,
still an extension, so we did extend the precinct for that purpose too. So, we asked the select board to do it.
Even that took what, a year or two, just to do the boundaries. So that's to go to their meeting, then has to go to our meeting, then has to go to the free meeting process.
so did we have to, did you gonna, do we ready to come back to that? You said something about before we make the motion.
They didn't make it, I don't know, if they made a motion and then was just waiting on vote.
175 or 80.
Up to 80 and that point forward.
The action is, one is. What would you, and then that case is got a cushion case. Right? I'm not saying what we spend it.
And authorize the board to execute the agreement, so it's gonna be a 3-party agreement. The timing, payments and stuff.
Still, I mean, motion.
Second. It's coming out of the invest NH.
All in favor, say aye.
I don't think it's right. They're gonna, I think they're gonna sign it, so it's not, I think they're gonna sign it.
Not authorized to resource that,
Oh, right.
execute the document.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna negotiate and eventually it'll come to us.
You know, 3 million. Increase in pay. We don't worry, yeah. Too late. With the taxes, right? We would have made a lot of money, right?
If we'd have done it last year.
If we done last year. That, Gary.
Oh, we did it on top of the ground.
Yeah.
The Steve put together.
Are we done? We're not going into nine, okay.
Here, well,
Look at that.
We're gonna non-public.
Yep.
Any public input?
They're stuck with us, come on. Prove you're still awake.
They killed the grind.
Yeah, I saw you catching them, haven't yet been in.
It's nice. What are we going? You know, got landing on his face.
Well, you can say it wasn't just a rubber stamp, that was, well, I think that understand what's going on, you
I'll
know?
make a motion to adjourn.
I'm not one of these people that say, I don't know.
Wasn't complaining to you after.